Yeah.
Five, four, three.
Well, I'm ready. Process. So what do you guys think you want to improve at? What went wrong? Or that sort of thing?
I think in terms of our team, we've got maybe just like there's a little bit of a lack of experience playing around trades, like the players who are not involved in trades. Consolidating points, like good positioning once we get new points. What else? Like last hold's just kind of the theory for players that don't have like a specific role, like a gun or a heavy. Yeah, that kind of
I
shit.
mentioned that this team, Undrak, just couldn't count Ubers.
Yeah.
You guys had issues with Uber counting?
No, Undrax couldn't count Ubers.
Who's
The
that?
medic for them.
Okay, and that was a good thing?
Yeah, he was just kind of stupid.
Alright. Also, I might recommend you hurt yourself more so you can go way further, that soldier, Santa. There's some high ground scout, which is good.
Alert. The control point has been captured.
So this is probably a losing fight. Imagine you guys are calling for a retreat. Oh no, you're in still. Wow, it's working out. I mean, mids are pretty chaotic most of the time, eh? So probably won't be looking too much into them. Who's calling? Is it you, Liv?
J and Y and then me kind of like.
Is that the pocket
support
scout?
calling. Yep.
Okay.
Alert. The control point is being contested.
Alright. How do you guys usually break these sorts of stalemates?
Wow. Okay. Yeah. We're kind of. The boys are used to kind of single sacking.
Okay.
We've been trying to double sack a little bit more. Some of the issues we have with that is like people taking way too much damage just when we're in like static holds, like before.
Yeah, like preemptive
Before.
damage.
Yeah.
That's a super important thing. Is as you guys are preparing to, because this is your move, yeah. You're the offending team in this case. So you've got it's really important when you are doing your sacks, especially if you're doing double sacks, that everyone is very healthy. Because it's just going to make it that much harder for the enemy to like stop you when you do your sacks or like counter aggress after your sacks. And Liv's right, like you probably do want to be doing more than single sacks, because like the problem with single sacks is it's super low risk reward. And in fact it's a good thing to like have that sort of risk like double soldier, because it means that the enemy's way more likely to, you're going to force their hand in terms of them going forward after you sack them. So that's just a single sack. So it's like a, single sack, it's extremely safe, but like the chance of it succeeding is extremely low too, which is the problem with it. So that's why pretty much all maps I usually advocate for doing a double sack, typically double soldier. Sometimes even more, like in certain maps you can do triple sacks or even quad. During these sorts of holds, the most important thing is your demos trapping up, so that's really good, and your medic's safe from like snipers and sacks and the like. So I guess we're just waiting on you guys to make a move here. And yeah, carnivore orders. Do you think it's going to be another single sack?
Probably.
A lot of time here. You guys are just taking it slow.
I think at this point we wanted to buff up and try and kill the flank because they were getting very explorative in IT.
You can certainly do that because enemies will get impatient, and then you can like, okay, here we go. My crater. Okay, that's really good. This is like when the single sec is really nice because when it works, and then they can't really do anything off of it. So it looks like you guys are trying to bust while retaining Uber, so that's, you have to pop here, so that's fine. Like if I'm not mistaken, this should just be a round right here. We can talk about it, like it was really good how you guys played that, like obviously you got the single into a force, which is really good, right? And then you didn't feed at all during their Uber, and then you attempted to do like this dry push, wet push or whatever you want to call it, where you had Uber add, and you tried to just bust in without, you know, popping or losing anyone, and they committed all their players onto you, so that's a perfectly fine time to pop, because if you wipe them here, it should be a last push, yeah? Like it should be a last win even, which I imagine Lev's going to cap here, because that's, you know, what he's good at, or all he's good at, and then the rest of your team coming to last.
Control point is being captured.
Yeah, that's pretty textbook, well done.
So it's good for you, Poisy, when we get in those situations on last, especially there it wasn't that contested, but when it's more contested, make sure you're calling like what side you're trapping up.
Yeah,
That'll really help your teammates out in that last thing. A lot of demos don't do that. I'm not saying you don't, but just like it's a really good to know.
Yeah, typically you want like the demo man trapping off one doorway, and he's going to call that, and that pretty much means that like if you have at least one soldier, he should be definitely camping the other door, because you want to maximize the, you know, the chokes and stuff, the spawns with your explosive classes. That's I think you guys pretty much did that fine, so it's alright. Watch out for that ball, I think it's really dangerous.
The control point is being captured.
That soldier making a lot of space where they're feeding. You guys are really playing the rock well there with your scouts, so that's really nice. And as they're feeding in, you're not losing that many players, other than you mate here, or whatever his name is. It's really good that you're holding here. You guys probably aren't going to go in, right? Because you're missing players and you got one on the point, so probably won't be able to push it. But like I think holding the choke's really good. Just be careful being too far forward, because there's a good chance they might kill you. It might be safer oftentimes just to be a little further back and having your demo man just lock off the choke while the medic and the scout and everyone's safe, and then maybe having like someone watch into IT here. But I think like holding aggressively against like any chance of them coming into mid is generally a good idea, but maybe just be a bit more cautious about it. But it looks like it's going to go well, and we're probably going to see a repeat of sacking in now, I would imagine. If you guys do want to do like kills on the enemy flank, it's not that hard. Like I think the way to do it is you run in your scout who's fully buffed, and you have like a pocket soldier skip in, and you guys can use. It's pretty easy to crush like enemies that are overextended in IT if that's something you want to try, if you recognize that. But again, just waiting on you guys. So I think you're. Oh, you got a soldier in. Okay. So I'll probably just elaborate a bit on like if you do these single sacks, you know, there's a chance you get away with it, but it's really low. I do think you probably want to start experimenting with the doubles a bit more, because obviously it's going to greatly increase the chance of your soldiers getting in and forcing the medic, or maybe dropping him. But like the real good thing about losing 2 soldiers here, or sacking 2 soldiers in, is that the enemy, they have to do something off that, right? Like a 2-player ad, which can actually be to your. Have I crashed? Oh no.
No.
Can actually be to your benefit when you're missing players, funnily enough, because when you're holding middle and you're missing 2 players, it can really force their hand. They have to essentially come into mid here and attempt something, either like a trade or a sack, and you can play around that, like if your demo man is trapped off really well and stuff, especially on maps like Snakewater, but also on this map. We might we kind of did a double sack here, so we might actually see it occurring.
So here, can we just stop for a second?
Yeah.
This is one scenario that we run into like a lot, Poisy, and it's just like it'll just be getting used to it. It's especially important if we double sack more.
Which one's poisy here?
That's the demo.
Demo.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as soon as we get into those positions where we're 2 players down, even if we get the force, if we get the force or not, the reaction is kind of same, right? If we do get the force, the priority is keeping the med alive, retaining Uber. That probably means, like in this situation, backing up a bit more to like a safe position, like, you know, most likely the choke.
Yeah.
So we can just get out with the full Uber ad. Because then once we have the full Uber ad and our 2 players, we can trade that full Uber ad for like 2 points or like a winning team fight, something like that.
I think that's a critical mistake from Poisy there, though. Like, when you are doing, I don't think your soldier, the last one who died, was attempting to sack. I think he got picked off. It doesn't really matter, but I think the major issue is, as you guys were doing, you were losing your soldiers. I don't think you had this choke lockdown at all.
Yeah.
Red Demo Man.
I think we were doing the single sack, and I was carpeting for the soldier who was going, and so I didn't have traps up. But yeah.
When
Was
you
that their sewer?
the team,
The sack? The sack.
I think he died in IT. We can see again, but the point is, if you guys are doing sacks, typically you don't want to like spend too much of your time demo trying to like shoot stickies at the enemy medic to try and butter them up for your soldiers. It's usually the way to do it is like as you're just even prior to your soldiers sacking, you want to be trapped up extremely extensively in the chokes and stuff and be fully loaded. Because I think by the time your soldier's dead, I think you had no traps up and you're probably out of ammo or something. So we can probably have a look at that.
Control point is being captured.
So, yeah, okay. Well, do you see what I mean? Like this choke is completely barren. So what we would want to be seeing here really is like this choke completely locked off. You may be a little bit further back with fully loaded, maybe traps here too, or here, and then like you have a scout up here watching into IT perhaps, and maybe your team. You can, and then from there you can actually call like if you want to play, your team wants to play close because that has benefits. Like if they come in, Lev can take your pocket scout rather can take a solo trade into them and maybe get a big multi, and that can be good, and you can retain the mid until your players get back. Or the alternative is you slow them down by utilizing the traps and your spam and stuff. So like by the time the enemy's in, your reinforcements are on the way, these respawning soldiers, and then you can trade into them. But the key issue here is that the enemy, you never want the enemy to get in quickly for free, which is what we're currently seeing. And I don't need to elaborate on like we're probably out of position here too. The demo. Yeah, there's no reason to be forward if you do not have any sort of trap. If you were trapped up, it's, you know, you could do like the more aggressive play with your defensive trade if you wanted.
See, even, you know, even that situation there, like being two players down, like that's fine. There's no reason there that we have to give up the point completely. It's only because we were kind of caught with our pants down. Yeah. Once we go 2 players down like that, we can kind of move to the more like defensive position, see where they're pushing from, and then take that proactive trade.
You can do anything. You can choose to be more aggressive if you like got a really good trap up at the choke and trade aggressively into them as they come in, or you can do what Liv just said, where you stay back and you wait for them to come in a bit more as your reinforcements are starting to be relevant, and then you can trade into them. Or if it's not going well, you can just like fuck off and retreat back to second. But what you don't want to happen is like you get forced by the enemy team and they like aren't punished for it, or essentially they get away with it, like, i.e. they're not going to pop or they're not going to lose players, that sort of thing. So it's probably worth just getting out here because these guys are just swamping you with players.
Time has been added.
Good spot to hold up here. I think they're making a pretty major mistake, like having this player out and trying to like bust in or like just lurk in over on 2 as you guys are all around here. They should have just gone into the lobby and tried to like get away with something more. So they kind of threw their player advantage there. During Uber stalemates, if you've got an advantage on the enemy team in terms of player, you typically want to try and like do something off it, obviously, right? Like go through the path of least resistance, i.e. where the demo man isn't, and try and achieve something off it, usually in the form of like a sack or perhaps a trade, or just information or positioning at least. So this is a good gun. It sees a little bit of doors essentially, except that one, and it's very good at defending the medic.
This is like, I don't know, just for you guys, it's like a typical, this is the kind of gun I'll be building in even Ubers. So the point of this gun is so that we can run like, say like another off class on the Pocket Scout like a sniper, and this gun will still deny sacking players.
Yeah, we call it an aggro gun, or offensive gun. You can do it. You can have it this far forward when like you've got Uber and you can afford to go forward with your team a bit more. If you had Uber Disad, obviously it would be further back because the priority is like building it and keeping it alive. Unfortunately, it's not very. Oh, you got a sniper, so we can talk about that. But for the most part, you don't really get to achieve a whole lot when you're defending. You're waiting for the enemy to make a move, so that's a really good pick. Probably not going to be able to counter sack off it because you got 2 soldiers. If your soldiers wanted, they could have attempted a sack there. I think you are. Who's the Santa dude? I don't know his name, but
we get the demo.
you do get the demo, which is huge. One thing I would say is that if you're going to attempt this counter sack soldier dude, just try and do it a lot earlier, because it's very possible that your sniper.
I think he's the one not in disc.
Okay, well.
He's not here, but I'm playing pocket tonight. So
that's alright. Well, the soldiers are interchangeable. It's the same class. If you do want to be attempting like a counter sack, which is what this dude did, which is perfectly fine, I would recommend you just do it as soon as possible, because let's imagine your sniper didn't kill this demo man. If he didn't get away with that, getting this frag, their soldier was going to be up as your soldier is sacking in, and probably like not achieving anything, because counter sacks are very difficult to do, and that would put you at a player disad. So that the lesson is, if you are going to do a counter sack, just fucking do it ASAP, or else it's essentially going to put you in a bad position where you might have a player disad, and the enemy team could work into last with that.
Hard and fast.
Alert. The control point is alert.
I wouldn't have given
The
up.
control point is being captured.
I would definitely wouldn't have given up second if I were blue hair, because they had a player ad and they had a gun at last. You guys had a gun at last, so that was a bad play by them, giving that shit up for free, essentially. Dimmerman isn't that fucking important to lose. You can still hold if you have Uber.
What would scouts be way more important to lose in that situation?
What's that guy?
Scouts be more important to lose in that situation rather than the demo.
Well, Dimmerman's probably the most important class other than medic, right? But like, they don't need to give up this entire point just because they lost their demo. Like, you guys were missing a player and you had a gun at last, i.e. like 2 players down.
They've still got the soldiers and the splash damage to like lock down the doorways, and then they've got the option to trade on us.
If you guys
like
exactly.
It's the whole thing about that double sack is too, like, as soon as we start trying to push out, our risk goes up, even though they're down players, because they threaten, like, we could get back up, we gotta clear everything.
Yeah, you guys have to work through a choke to like achieve things, whereas they can just wait for you essentially and shoot into chokes from an open area. So they essentially have like the upper hand, and that's typical for any team that has mid or the enemy second. They have like the upper hand for most of it. The enemy team, the defending team, i.e. you, is waiting on the enemy to make a move most of the time. So you're running a sniper, I think that's okay. The critical thing when you're running a sniper is that you play very, very defensive with your other classes to ensure the enemy doesn't get in with a sack or something. Because the downside is, of course, if you have a sniper, your defensive capabilities are maybe going down. Okay, Liv's cheating a little bit, that's alright. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna actually report this. Because he doesn't do this sort of thing, I promise you. I really like this. It's not working out for you, but I like the idea, like trading into them. Let's watch it again, actually, because that's pretty interesting. We go like, oh, they're fucking right, Liv, they're fucking right, that sort of thing.
Yeah. They're fucking right, boys. Get in there, alright?
Fuck him.
The control point.
You got piped there, so I can see why you popped. The key thing is when you've got this major player scout dude, your number one goal is to make sure the enemy medic pops, because you want to make it so like they're not going to have a massive Uber after you potentially, or they even just get away with Uber, because it could lead to them just like delaying long enough that they get to defend middle. So like as soon as your medic pops, your goal is to force the enemy medic, and you can achieve that by like shooting the player near him or himself. But you got so let's see what happens. But I like the idea of trading, or doing an Uber trade when you've got a major player in.
So see this point here, like, yeah, this is where we just want players on the height. Like Faye, your first instinct should be on the crates up the top.
Is that a soldier? Yeah. This is the spot for you, Faye, or just somewhere where you can see everything and shoot the doorways for free with like long range spam. That's something you want to abuse as a soldier. Is just the fucking infinity range rockets, because it's it's very safe.
I think I jumped height and then dropped onto point before. I think.
Nah, I think you just leave your scout to do it. You want to be in a position where you're not going to eat shit with your scout, and you can see stuff, and you can shoot for free, and you don't take damage. I think your demo is winning you your mid though. This is crazy by this dude, like sitting up here and locking off the choke. That's really heads up play. Well done. They're not even going to come in off that. So he was like blasting the choke, so that's really good. Enemy teams move, they got Uber, but you have a sniper, which is really nice when the enemy team has Uber ad, because it can often force their hand. Where is Lev? Yeah. They're not pushing.
They were really bad at counting Uber system.
I think they just straight up.
I think you should be, like, someone needs to be holding this doorway. Yeah, it's probably a soldier. Are you the roamer, mate? Or are you the pocket?
The roamer.
If you're the roamer, you probably want to be like over this side, like let the pocket handle this doorway.
Okay.
Just as a general rule of thumb, roamer has the left side covered during. It's interchangeable, but for the sake of simplicity, roamer's typically over there most of the time during Uber descent. But at the least, you don't really want both soldiers here, because you're not actually contributing anything at the moment other than baiting, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? Because I imagine you're trying to jump the medic as he comes in or something.
That was the idea.
Yeah, but the issue is you want to still actually be relevant during that whole entire thing, not just until you're about to jump. So this is good. You guys successfully delayed long enough, and now I imagine you're just trying to play your sniper, which is fine. Or you're so sus. He doesn't do this like ever, I promise. This is a little bit unfortunate. I think you've got a major advantage here, like a demo man. Doing this push-in with your combo is really good, but what you really want to do is like have one of your soldiers, probably Faye in this situation, jump in to try and make a little bit more space. Like maybe jump up and alleviate pressure, because it looked like your medic just kind of ate shit, and then the blue team called that, and then they just like sacked a soldier into you for the force. So this could mean that essentially they're gonna get away with having a demo down and sacking a soldier into you, and they might get away with it because their Uber could be substantially longer. So we shall see. Oh, but they're not being aggro with it, and they pop super far back. So I don't know. I think they should have gone really holding a bit more defensively, but they do end up getting your medic, this is kind of the issue of what I was talking about before. All right. Did that make sense? Should I reiterate?
I think what I was going to say too is, in that situation where they're down a demo, what we can do as a team is execute that a bit slower. Like have the soldier come in super healthy, take height, spam, come in wide, and then allow me to work like sewer, a sniper, because we're essentially another combat class down as well if I'm not getting shots.
You've got a lot of options to work with, which is really nice when you trade like a sniper. You get a sniper pick. You get the demo pick with a sniper. You can do all sorts of things. You can just trade in aggressively with a combo scout. You can just make space for your sniper to try and do something, or you can do like a sack into the enemy team with like your soldiers, because it's much easier when their demo's down. That sort of thing.
Kind of a dumb question.
Yeah, it's not dumb.
What's the best place to jump height when you're in that situation? I'm pushing second.
As a soldier.
Yeah.
Is that you? Is that you, Faye, here?
Yeah. I think I died, but just for future reference.
Well, I think the key thing you want to be doing is like when because your team's trying to do a dry push into here, yeah?
Yeah.
One of your roles as a pocket soldier, or a soldier rather in this case, you're kind of acting as a pocket, being in the choke, is to make space for your team and like get information and vision. I would have had you buffed here and just literally just jump over here, or just jump off this wall and then into them or something, or just basically checking for stuff, so like your medic's not going to eat shit as he comes in. Your job is to kind of like distract enemies, like flying in and like calling stickies and snipers and bombing soldiers and stuff. Like, but basically making space and just by looking at things and calling them to your team. You don't even necessarily need to be shooting anything, but you want to be like using your rocket jumping, tons of HP to try and take a lot of pressure and eyes off your combo. If you're the soldier in that situation. So this is probably going to be the enemy's team move. We're going to see how they sack. Talk about how to defend against it and how to do shit afterwards.
So basically, you just to explain it to you as well, Faye. Like I know you said you felt alone sometimes on the flank.
Yeah, I was just thinking right then, like I was pushing way too far forward.
Just slow down for a sec, Rocky, and I'll just kind of explain. Like,
you want to pause?
Yeah. So see, like where the point is, right? And you see that little gate at the top of the point, or like that fence.
I didn't need to be that far in. I could have been.
No. But what I'm saying is, when we're in these defensive positions and it's the other team's move, basically my role as the flank scout is to work with the pocket scout to deny these soldiers. Yeah. So most of the time I'm not going to be playing IT with you. I'm going to be buffed up on the point, like ready to kill sacking players. That's kind of my priority there.
Yeah, because the scouts want to work together on like the fence and the high ground to jump into sackers so they can much more effectively stall them, so they can't get onto the medic. Your role essentially, Faye, is you're going to be looking into IT, just basically watching out for threats. It's not very exciting or glamorous, and try not to feed. It's your pocket that might do counter sacks, or yourself, like after they feed it and don't achieve anything. But for the most part, like you're essentially just waiting for like the game to open up a bit. So they I don't know, we're waiting on these dudes.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing, man. There's some okay players on that team. They were just goofing it up. I don't know.
They don't even have traps up there. Wouldn't be like a bad. If you could even sack into them if you wanted, if they like aren't trapped up properly and too close. What they should be trying to do is they should be trying to trap up, buff up, not eat shit, and then like do a play from there. You see how like they're all just standing in front of the sightline of your demo, and it's like completely compromising their ability to buff up and then do some sort of play. That's why it's really important that you're not like eating shit as a team as you're preparing to do some sort of sack maneuver. Here we go. I think this is a bit unfortunate. I think you need more scouts on the high ground, yeah?
Yeah, I dropped down because I was pressuring, but ideally I'd be playing on the point. You're right.
Try and get like a designated scout, the one that's going to hold the high ground. Although this might be fucking bad for them because they're really overextended with their... No, they get out. No, they drop. Never mind. So... You see the issue of what they did there. They're doing a fucking sack and yet they're running in with their entire team into choke. And also the demo did what our mate did before, where he's not trapped up and defending the choke at all. So that your demo, I think, just came in and completely plastered their medic. When you do get a medic pick like this, you want to slow, and you've got this massive player out. All you want to do is try and like not feed players, especially your medic.
Oh yeah, can I just jump in on that real quick? Yeah, that's one thing. Like it'll just take a little bit more practice, but as soon as we get into those situations when we have full Uberad, the priority is not to take like fights or anything like that. And sometimes it's unavoidable, totally. But like the first thing to do is just like kind of rotate to the combo, just pick like smart positions, just lock off like flank routes and all that sort of shit, and just keep the medic alive. Once we get like full 100% Uberad, we've got heaps of time to like make a decision, move into new ground, and keep the medic alive. We don't need to rush stuff from that point.
Yeah, Liv said Uberad, but I think he meant medic. But
yeah.
But when it becomes especially important when you do, like, say their medic's dead and you do have like a full Uberad on them, it becomes even more important to retain the medic. Because you can imagine what's going through the enemy team's head here when their medic dies. And they're like maybe got more players up, or even these players, they're thinking like we should try and force the enemy mid here. So that's when you want to like cluster around the team, the medic, and protect them and like slowly bust through without losing players. to silly sacks and stuff.
Our control point.
That looks like you guys are achieving that, so that's good. Oh, aggressive push. I like it. This is something that is quite cool in my opinion. Is like when you've wiped their team as they're trying to get into your second, and you don't have their mid yet, but you can you're pushing their second aggressively before they've spawned or as they spawn. I think that's a pretty cool play to do. Something you can actually do is you don't even have someone capping middle. You can actually if someone's if you've got a soldier going through their IT for instance, you can actually bring the entirety of your team into their second to just overwhelm them at their second and just crush them. And then you basically have a major player out to take their second, and then you can go back and cap middle. But you're choosing to have one person cap middle, which is fine. But just understand that it's gonna leave you a little bit more vulnerable as you push their second. But
Ooh, nice bow.
you guys are raping them, so that's alright.
I'm going with your tickets.
Alert! The control point is being captured.
I would seriously have you guys go forward right now. I'm pretty sure you can hear the demo mans in 1 and 2, yeah? It should be called, you guys should know it.
I was calling that he's trapping one, but
yeah. And that means if you know where he's trapping, especially on this map, and they have players down, and you've got this major Uberad, I think there's nothing stopping you from trying to take their lobby and stuff right now. It's usually not necessary having...
I think we just build the last of it out and do try to go fast. I think the problem was J and Y dies, who would make that call, and then I'm rotating from mid, who would be the next person to make the call. So we just decide to get Uber and then push.
That's alright, but I do think that it's usually very useful to try and take a lobby for free if you can. Because it's just going to make pushing into last that much easier a lot of the time. Okay, 5 push. I think. Walk-in 5 push perhaps? Yeah. This is really good for you guys. It's working out. They failed to force you into the capacity, and when they did force you, they all were around the combo, so they died. Something I probably would do that might be better is if you do get this fire in and they're not, this is just a hypothetical, if they're not sacking everyone onto you, just take the Uber and sticky jump into the combo and stuff if they are being more passive. But they all fed into you, so it's perfectly fine to do what you guys just did. Good push.
We have a few minutes before 9, by the way.
Okay. Well,
I haven't even sent me the server yet. I think we got some time.
Yeah, I got time.
Oh, that's close.
I like the early positioning phase. It's really good. How you're getting onto the crates early.
This is
staying alive.
Yeah, you're in really good spots and taking pressure off your team, so that's really cool. Doing a fake out. Nice, man.
Nice. That's sick, man. That's really good. Make sure you're calling that shit too.
Yeah, just say you're fake bombing or bombing. Yep. Good.
That's what I was saying the other day. The overall shape, I think, is
please,
really good with where we're at. It's just these few little minor tweaks of these basket case scenarios where we're coming unstuck. But I think you guys are fucking doing really well.
Yeah, they look pretty clean. Might have one of your scouts be a bit more aggro onto your crate, if you want.
I'm just trying to float. So JNY's been playing pretty aggro, but I'll tell him that he can play more aggro.
I think it's just you had 2 scouts on your rock, which is not necessarily bad, but you can maybe get away with a bit more position and spread out a bit, live big shit. That's right.
Affirmative.
They should be trying for something when you guys lose a player like this, which they are, but...
I think Levko's sniper.
What's that, sorry guy?
I think Levko's sniper.
No, you have a sniper.
Hey, Jen.
JNY, yeah.
This is the thing where I opened door 1, isn't it?
Yeah. You guys see the issue with their counter sack there? How late it is? They're essentially a player down and you have a sniper, so that should make his job of getting into a spot where he wants to do something a lot easier. So that's the downside of doing a really late counter sack, just from the enemy's perspective. Yeah, we didn't really do much with it though, unfortunately. Great, holy fuck. What on earth? You guys probably do a lobby push. Walk in while you push
I think I'd take us in 5. We go in 5 because of the sniper.
This is a bit of a problem, soldier dude. You definitely don't want to be super clustered when you have like a major Uber ad, because that's going to make it so much easier for the enemy to spam you guys, and force you while doing tons of damage. So I think you guys will probably win this, but like you definitely don't want to be fucking clustered when you're doing this sort of push. Either follow your combo, like lurk behind them, or just lead like really far in front of them. Maybe like skip up behind the enemy team. But you don't want to be sitting inside the people who should be taking the charge. You know what I mean? Well, I don't think he's here, right? But you guys can go right.
Was that? Oh yeah.
The final control point is being contested.
Who's this guy?
Chain life, Johnny. Combo scout.
I don't know, pretty sus. Might have to submit this video.
Well, JNY won our div last season. That was that Age of 14 max.
Yeah, it's good to have snipers that can snipe.
Like I said, like JNY could play Prem. It's just that it's his first season in Scout.
I like your position.
I feel like you're playing these mids really well, Faye.
You are.
It's good.
It's good that you guys are holding the high ground here.
Look at this, man. Like, our mid is so much stronger.
Yeah, and you just, okay, shitting on them. Man, they just fucking gave up that hit entirely. Like, it looked like as soon as...
The control point is being captured.
Alright. Is that you guys?
No, that was you.
No, I mean, like, is that you guys playing? No, someone else.
Nah.
Yeah, good mid, like, lots of high ground, people rotating, not feeding a whole lot. Good position, spread out. When you get low, like retreating and getting your bow, that sort of shit, that's really cool. Hold on. Okay. I think the major mistake the enemy team are making here is they don't have a gun. I think at last you should pretty much always have one. There's no reason not to. Oh, I didn't see what you guys were doing. It looked like you lost your demo, man. Okay.
I think just like I know you. I think you were trying to pressure for poisy there. I get dropped here too. We wanted to. So here we wanted to trade. I know you were trying to like pressure for J and Y there. Yeah. But just like always, just double check that like you've actually got like the support of your team when you're pressuring like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's critical that the demo man, you don't lose the demo man. Like you can help out with traps and stuff and maybe spam, but like you don't want to be losing yourself. Like, that's probably the best thing that can happen to the defending team, other than like the enemy bit of dying.
Nice bomb, nice bomb.
That's really huge. Big fucking salvage. I don't think you guys should be. Oh, well, they're giving up all the ground, but I don't think we need to be this passive, yeah, when the Uber's that dog shit. Suspended, raped, whatever you said that.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. A little bit of a lemming shit going on now, one by one. Yeah, they just pooped on you guys. I'm not going to really talk about the whole DM side of that, because you know, you guys just got shit on, but I think you probably could have had a lot better position prior to that in that mid, because you guys were all at choke, even though their Uber was on their second and they multied really hard and it was like super dog shit for them, and you had like even players. Probably not worth having, because it might be a reason why you guys lost that fucking fight, right? Like you're at a really bad position from fighting, and then you tried to like work into a better position, which is a lot harder than just being in a better position in the first place, right?
Time has been added.
Which might have, you know, changed like the fight outcome and how they might have stopped maybe and all that sort of shit. This is good by your scouts. Just completely focus firing the soldiers. Decent distractionary trade, and they should all be feeding here. Nice.
Alert. The control point is being captured.
And he should have killed Bind, obviously.
Dumb cunt.
It was pretty bad by the enemy team. They kind of just sat on the floor. I think they should have done like way bigger. The way you counter scouts on the high ground is you just like do way bigger jumps to fly over them. They're just doing these little single baby jumps like that into the scouts, which is gonna get your dick chewed off every time. Don't want that to happen.
So we know this is big ad. We should just be making sure to get good buffs here, not take damage pre-push.
And know where the demo man
listening to the call.
is holding.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, yeah. Do you want to tell them?
Okay, we can go on it. The key thing when you want to like go into a last, guys, when you have like, especially an Uber ad, but maybe something else like a player ad, is you know where the enemy demo man is trapping off, or like at least where he is. Like listen for his stickies, because if you and basically like you just want to go the opposite way most of the time, the path of least resistance, right? But this looks fucking cool, so let's watch this. This is a Chad Uber. I really like it. Because you guys just essentially like go in really hard and fast and cover a major amount of ground and fly into like the guts of a team and crush them. Doesn't even matter if you necessarily like not getting kills straight away, although you did. Like it's just a really good Uber. Demo flies in, Ubered, super aggressive, scout, chariots, medic to him, do a ton of damage, take a ton of position, completely cordon off the side of the map and then get frags and walk towards the point. So that was really fucking sick, well done.
Yeah, the shape is pretty good. The shape of our plays is actually pretty good.
Nice. So, that's probably a big mistake your soldier made there. Like, when you got that sort of initial immediate player ad, the worst thing you can do is just like give it away to the enemy. The key thing is to try and accumulate your player advantage, which means just basically dragging a fight out, yeah? Without leaving mid, of course. The worst thing that can happen is just like you get a pick and then someone immediately feeds into the enemy. So I'd recommend that you probably don't jump in like that into the high ground scouts. Just go elsewhere or fly really high or something. And try and slow the fight down, because over time it should result in you guys winning. Oh, nice.
I'm joining the match server now.
Well, we can cut it here if you like.
Oh, we've got a couple of minutes just waiting on one anyway.
Yeah, but the point being, attrition is important, guys. Like if you do get an immediate crazy player out like that, don't throw it away by going hyper aggressive into the enemy, because they're looking for you to fuck up and do a feed, yeah. Because they want to like equalize the fight. Okay, they have a sniper. You got full loot bread actually. So you can do a lot of things here. Do you guys know what you typically do when you have a player, a big Uber ad like here? Hello?
What do you mean? Like what?
You've got options. Like
yeah.
If you have a big Uber ad, you can do things like you can either go you can go really aggressive into them with an Uber, if they're close. Or if they're further back, you can attempt to do a walk-in sort of charge.
Oh, this is what I wanted to talk about quickly. It's kind of along the same lines. I think J and Y would typically play pretty aggressive in these scenarios. I think there's 1 or 2 times, Poisy, where you've been confused about what to do.
Who's
Poisy's our demo.
Okay.
In the choke. I'll just make it clear to you, like most of the time, like almost all the time, if we have an Uber ad and JNY is leading it, you will be included in the Uber.
Yes.
Yeah. You just think, because you said like the other day, I wasn't sure if I needed to be in that one, but yeah, unless it's like some kind of trade or something like that, you'll be included in the Uber. Like our default standard Uber is the scout leading and you like in tow with the medic. And sometimes it'll be you like jumping in first and then the scout in tow, but you'll always be included in those aggressive Ubers. Yeah. The only ones where you won't be included is like, unless it's a trade on you, it'll be like a defensive trade on the pocket scout or a proactive trade, or it'll be like Rocky's got this kind of other trade, which we'll go into at some point as well, which will be the pocket trade, which is the scout and the pocket soldier. But like you will be included in all the aggressive Ubers.
You will pretty much always be in the in Ubers where it's Uber advantage.
Yep, cool.
Because you're the best class to like fly into the enemy and just crush them while still having tons of ammo. So this is a problem. Like your soldier jumping in here was really good because he was trying to make space, but your goal, big guy, like he's not here, right? his goal, or any soldier that comes in first, is to like check for threats. He should have been checking for stickies and players in the sky and snipers and stuff. The fact that, but your demo could probably do more here. Like you could probably be knocking the traps, demo man, like as you're coming in, and your scouts could probably be looking for them too. So that's just you guys getting a little complacent, I think, and beating to the traps. Which is a shame because they were super passive, so it could have been a walk-in attempt against them for free.
Alert.
Oh, and they
The
force
control
you.
point is
It's
being
pretty
contested.
disastrous, right?
I think we dropped one round, and it's this one.
Okay, left feeding. That's alright. Yeah, this is just cascading shit, unfortunately. It's really important, like your demo like knocks traps here or traps up, scouts check it, soldiers fly through and check the traps and stuff. None of that really happened. So that's just what we call a throw. And now they have Big Uber out. And a sniper.
I think they're a little scared.
Fuck off, they do. Really?
No, as we said, their Uber counting was shocking. I can guarantee you get this.
Yeah.
Well, you weren't joking.
Huh?
They should... What I would do if I were them is probably like move towards sewer and like get an eye for you guys, and if you're close, just literally just pop demo scout medic into you and kill you, or if you're super far back, just like slowly walk in and utilize the sniper a bit more. But if they really aren't pushing off the assault, yeah, okay, whatever. Not good, right? Yeah, they're starting to push now, or they try to. I don't know what they're doing. But they should be having a soldier come through to make space and get vision, if they were to do that push a lot earlier. Yeah, that's pretty sad. Alright.
Jam, why call them like aggro trade here to I get dropped like Twitch body shot.
Okay, aggro trading into like an enemy sniper can be really, an enemy sniper's team can be really good, because he's just like the worst class in the game during those situations.
I didn't really know.
Oh, you got dropped. Okay, okay. Well, that just looked like a miscommunication to me. Bit of a sleeper.
I think I might have unplugged my mouse or some shit there, because I don't know what the fuck I was doing.
Okay. Looked like
Crunching your nuts.
Yeah. Trading's not trading's not necessarily bad there at all. It could work out. Well, it could work out. You guys just kind of got weren't coordinated properly. You guys should definitely lose this because you're all on one side and they're taking all this ground to play out of the way.
Alert. Alert. Control point is being captured.
Oh wow.
Alert.
Dude, all these snipers fucking
I think
cheap.
I get huge. We fucking hold this.
Oh yeah, that guy fucking told.
It was really good about your demo man, I thought. Like, he came over here and kept the point trapped off while surviving. That's probably the most important thing. Because you can pretty much hold any last if the point is trapped off and the enemy team aren't killing you, right? Or the point's blocked while your team's not dying, so they probably did not get enough frags on key players quickly enough with their charge, so they fucking... that looked unthrowable to me, but whatever. They didn't. Okay, you guys are looking to play a new Brad. I think. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. I call the far back, and I think we decide to go IT because of it.
Alert. The control point is being captured.
It's gonna... Okay, it worked out. I probably recommend that when you... If you see they're that close, you guys, the pocket scout and the demo and stuff, it's okay to shoot players if they're in your face, yeah, but like the key thing I think is to definitely just like kill their key players with your Uber, if you can. Like if their medic and demo are super close, like jump into them and kill them, and then like go worry about the more mobile classes. But you guys are probably gonna... This is okay, because you guys are getting frags still, so it's fine. And you're pushing off the player, which is cool too. You shouldn't have two people capping it. Oh yeah, so I'm just coming forward, pretty good. Yep, good effort. They, of course, you know, it's pretty shit by them, right? Being that close to Uber this at IT, but
The control point is being
you guys
captured.
capitalized off it, so that's really all that matters.
Time has been
I think your medic should be going forward with your demo here.
I think we're about to. We still decide to push? No. We back up a little bit, 2 down.
Oh, wait for Uber. I think they'll let us get this one again.
Either your demo shouldn't have pushed in there, or your medic and someone else helping out while our scout cap. But you guys kind of were split up and lost first.
time has been added.
I'd say when you want to buff up, if you're going to do a sack, do it further back, like over here, or even over here, right? You don't want to be over here because you're just going to eat shit. Okay, they're trading. Awesome. Okay, so that should have been an awful thing for them, yeah? They like came in, they multied really hard.
And they stayed all on the low ground.
And they were all on the low ground, and your pocket scout got a big multi against them. I think the thing, your demo probably fucked up a bit here. Like, if they're coming on at this bro, the best thing you can do is like force them with spam and then like fuck off.
Yeah.
Because what you want to have happen is you just give a big fat juicy solo to your scout, because he'll multi the shit out of them, and by the post you guys will have an Uber ad, and then like maybe a soldier or the demo can come back in and crush the enemy team. The major problem here is like losing players and the enemy gets like a much shitter Uber. More shit, shitter. Okay. So that shouldn't have been a good play for the enemy, but they kind of get away with it because you lose important players during a poor enemy trade.
Time has been added.
But that's a pretty general rule, right? If you have even Ubers and enemy teams coming in, you want to like help force them, but you want to do like usually as big a solo as you can, because that's going to result in just a longer Uber. So that could like usually lead to a better post. As a general rule, not necessarily.
The final control point is being contested.
So that probably won't talk too much about that last hole because it was all really chaotic and stuff. But I think you're probably a little bit out of position here as a demo is one thing I'd say. Or at least your soldier needs to be... Probably don't want a soldier up here. Yeah.
I think my aim was to like fuck them as they were coming through one.
That's fine, but I think you're out of position at the same time. Like either be above or in the roller or like further away, I'd say.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No, it's good. Thanks, man.
I think you covered it well. Right.
You boys get a bit out of that, hopefully.
Alright.
Thanks.